Hey guys, Vince Luca, and today we're going to be doing National A Master License. And for the first one, we're going to go with Master A1, and I'm going to show you the settings for each one of these. So what you want to do for the first one is have it on manual and traction control 1 and ABS weak. Actually, traction control 0 and ABS weak. And we're going to put everything on off. Especially the bottom two, you want to have those two off. It's important to have them off to go faster. Yeah, you'll probably have them off for the rest of your life after you see how fast you go without those things on. So let's start here, and what you want to do for the first one is obviously go up to fourth gear, and when you see this orange wall, that's where you brake and turn. So brake and turn at the same time, and try to stick to your ghost. If you don't have your ghost on, put him on, because it's good to see how well you're doing. And you want to take a bit of the curve on the inside and not too much of the one on the outside, and stay on the road. So that's how you do this one. Hopefully it helps you get it. Now we're gonna move to Master A2, and for this one we're gonna also again have it on manual and traction control 1. ABS is on weak. Everything else should be on off, especially the bottom two, but the braking area on is pretty useful, so we'll leave that on. And we're gonna go into Master A2 over here. This is basically the same thing, just with a faster car. And what you want to do here is actually cut as much as you can of this curb here, the first curve, and a little bit of the second one. Try to stay on the track, and a little bit less here. You're gonna have to go a little bit over, and you're not gonna pass the ghost, but at least you'll still get gold. So stick to the ghost as much as you can. Now for the next one, A3, we're gonna have it on manual again. Traction control 1, ABS weak, and everything else off, except the braking area, so you can see where I'm braking. And we're gonna go with traction 1, make sure it's on 1. And for this one, I'm gonna show you where to brake at the second arrow. So when you hit the second arrow, you brake, downshift, try to get to gear 2. And I really screwed up that curve, and I'm pretty sure I thought I hadn't done it, but I did. So this is a good example of being behind the ghost can still get you gold. So just brake where I told you to brake, downshift to 2, and you should be able to get gold. Master A4, this is the Ferrari one. This one's hard. This one's a tough one. You might have to redo it a few times. You're gonna need manual, traction control 2, and ABS on default. We're in the rain here, but everything else should be on off. You can have the braking area on, and let's get into it. So yeah, I'm gonna admit this one's a hard one. It took me a while. So what you want to do at first is not shift up. You don't need to shift up. Just when you hear your shift go down or your revs go down, that's when you brake and shift down to 4. Turn, let go of the brake, back on the gas, and then try to brake right before this yellow arrow here, and press the gas at the apex of that curve, the gas here. Here you let go of the gas a little bit. You can't do this full speed, and you're gonna keep it at 4 on this curve, and then go to 5. I found that taking that curve at 4 is very easy to do, and if you get it right, you should get gold. Hopefully those tips are going to help you. Next up, Master A5. This one's fun. I really enjoyed this one. We're going to have it on automatic, ABS default, and everything else on off except the braking area. And I'll tell you why this one's so much fun. I love this one. Basically, you're going to never press the brakes. And at the second bullet panel, you'll see here I'm not pressing the brakes. You're going to turn, press the handbrake, and press the gas the whole time. Just handbrake the whole curve. And what you want to do is put the front of your car almost on the wall. Like, it's basically a drift. You're drifting. This is a bit louder so you could hear it. So you heard my handbrake a few times, and it's going to give you a nice exit around the corner, and you should be able to easily get gold. It's a fun one. You're gonna might do it a few times, but with the handbrake, it's a fun one, and you'll do it eventually. Next up, A6, I think we're at. So this one's on automatic, traction control 0, ABS on default, and everything else on off. And for this one, the first corner is kind of tricky. It tells you to brake, but you don't have to brake. You basically see here, I'm not gonna brake. I'm just gonna let go the gas, turn, and at the apex, start pressing the gas again, and try to stick to the right. And at 400 mark, you're gonna brake down to 2 or 3. 2 would have been ideal. I should have braked a little bit more so that when I see the 2, but I braked until gear 3 and it still worked. I'm trying to do as much as these as possible on automatic for some of you out there. So yeah, brake until you get to 2. Next one, automatic and traction control 2. For this one, ABS default and everything else on off. This is master A7, traction on 2. And for this one, you want to hit as much of the curb as possible. This one too, bring the curb on under your car. Like, you want to have almost your 2 wheels on the grass, except for the last curve here. Take it as wide as possible, and you should be good to go for this one. It's pretty straightforward. Basically, race against the ghost, and that one you should do it. Master A8. With these settings that I'm giving you, it should be pretty straightforward. You might have to do them a few times. This one's automatic, traction control 1, ABS on default, and everything else on off. Or maybe traction control 0 for this one. Could probably get away with it. And here we're gonna drive, and what you want to do is get on top of these little rocks here, these little pebbles here. It's gonna give you a nice little shortcut. Go over this curb here, over this curb here, and everything else is basically flat out. You're trying to just stick to the curbs here as much as you can. And even though you're not even close to the ghost, you should still be able to get gold. Next up, Master A9. This is another tricky, hard one. You're probably watching this video for this one. So I have it on manual, traction control 1, ABS default, everything else is off. And for this one, we're basically gonna just gear up to 5, as you would, and brake a little bit before the 150. That's where I decide to brake, or at the 150. And you keep braking until you're at 2, and then bring it down to 1 during the apex. Try to not slip when you're coming out of that curve, so press the gas as lightly as possible, and then shift up when you can to get gold. This one's really hard and tricky, but with a bit of practice you should do it. And Master A10. This one too can be tricky, but again, it's just racing your ghost. I could do it on automatic, traction 1, everything else on off. Basically, if I could do this on automatic, anybody could. And what you want to do here is the most important. Brake at this orange wall here. Start braking till you're at gear 3 in automatic. So brake, 3, and you could turn in, get the apex, and then brake a little bit. And here you want to press half gas to do this corner. Always press gas when you see that you can, and that you won't go too wide. And you're basically racing the Ghost here. Everything else is just everything you've learned so far. Standard racing, no real tips here. The Ghost here kind of made a mistake. I feel like he made a mistake, so it's a good opportunity to catch up and pass him. And you should be able to just get gold if you got your first corner correctly by braking. And that's going to give you the Mercedes AMG Black Series. And it's also going to give you a 6-star ticket. It's going to be all engines. So let's see which engine I get for this one. I wish it was all cars, but engine Lexus LaFa 10. That's not bad. Guys, I hope this video helped. And if it did, like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.